Good morning. I'm Tamar Turner, and welcome back to NCC News. SU men's basketball traveled to North Carolina to face the Wolfpack. Now, both teams are coming off wins in their last games, but for the Orange, as the regular season comes to a close, every game matters. In order to keep their tournament hopes alive and finish as one of the tops in the ACC, they needed to get past the Wolfpack.
Speaks as a testament. Not only is she a senior, not only is she getting the girls around her involved, but it just, I think when you see your goaltender working hard, that kind of motivates you on offense. That kind of motivates you to get involved. Look, if she can save all these goals, then we need to score some. So I definitely think Maddie's been doing a great job of that, not only this past weekend, but honestly all season. So Maddie, shout out to you. I love the team. Let's just keep climbing.
Originally, I would say that the word of the week would be consistency, but I think that's the word for the tournament, word for the month of March, consistency. The Orange, they've been having a lot of shaky shooters. You have Battle, he'll put up a high. O'Shea will put up a high. You have a good Buddy Boeheim and Dolezaj coming off the bench, but I think it's all about consistency and great shooting all around. That past game against Duke, they didn't really shoot well. They started off hot, but they have to end hot. And so I think for the tournament, in order to get these upsets, in order to keep advancing, you got to shoot well. So I'm really looking forward to what they do. Like you said, I want all the madness. Good morning. I'm Tamar Turner with your Orange Sports Update here on Mornings on the Hill. March is here, and it has brought all the madness along with it. The women's basketball are still going strong as they hosted the second round at the Carrier Dome on Monday. The Orange were looking to beat South Dakota State to advance to the Sweet 16 for the second time in just 4 years. But the real story here of the night, point guard and Australian sensation Tiana Mangakahia. Now it's officially lacrosse season, and what better way for the men's team to start than on a Friday night in the Dome against the Colgate Raiders. Now the last time these two teams met was in May of last year in a game that yielded 22 total goals, and the Orange accounted for 17 of them in a dominant victory. But really looking forward to the women's season. They had a rough season last year, 1-6 in the conference, and didn't do so well. A lot of their games were close, but then a lot of them, for ones that weren't close, they lost by 7+ goals. So really looking to see how the women rebound. I know they do have a lot of freshmen that came in this year, so I definitely think that they'll step up. They're being led by a great group of upperclassmen, so I think that they'll do the thing, especially playing in the Dome. Let's start with SU men's basketball, and just remember the number 7, which is the projected percentage that Syracuse would win against the number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils after losing at home to Georgia Tech, and many fans were in agreement with this number. Two biggest things that are working for Baylor right now are three-point shooting and rebounding. You got Makai Mason, arguably the best three-point shooter. Well, not arguably, he's the best three-point shooter on that team. He's made the most second best percentage, but he just has that quick release, and sometimes range for him is not really an issue. The Skinny Atlas girls hockey team had quite a run this season and wrapped it up playing against Williamsville and Buffalo for the state championship. Skinny Atlas is no stranger to championships as they won in 2017, but made it to the state semifinals last year, but unfortunately lost. Jim Boeheim having quite the roller coaster of a week, but still leading the Orange along for the ride. So early on, Frank Howard getting it done for the Orange with a pull-up jumper, stretches the lead to 3. And you have Merrick Dolezaj coming off the bench, not one, but 2 fakes, then throws it down for the slam. And he's loving it, fans are loving it. And he has some vision too. Finds Elijah Hughes for the 2-hand slam. In preparation for the tournament, the men's basketball team actually hosted the number 1 Blue Devils, and before the game even started, a record was broken. The Dome welcomed an additional 1,026 fans over the normal capacity, and the Orange once again set a new NCAA record for attendance at an on-campus college basketball game. The much-anticipated AFC matchup between the Chiefs and Patriots would send one team packing, but punched a ticket for another to Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. Syracuse does win. They'll move on to face Gonzaga, who was awarded the number 1 seed right now. Who from Gonzaga? I mean, we all know the biggest name from Gonzaga.
You're setting it up
yeah, but I just want to set y'all up. Just let me know who from Gonzaga, definitely, who should they keep their eye on? Do you think Syracuse has potential to win this game? Where do you see that matchup going? With all the snow we've been getting, I'm sure we haven't forgotten that hockey is still in effect, and the Syracuse Crunch are well above 500 on the season. But basketball isn't the only team involved in the madness, as the women's lacrosse team is on a hot streak after winning their last 4 games. A complete turnaround from last season, the Orange are ranked number 4 in the IWLCA poll and are 10-2 on the season. Despite their record in the ACC, Coach Boeheim says you can never count Boston College out, as they'll always come to compete. Back to you in the studio. I would say definitely up and down is the right way to describe it. They arguably won some games that some people didn't peg them winning. They lost some games that they arguably should have won. So I definitely think for Syracuse, it's about just finding their niche. Late in the second, Eddie Pasquale says, access denied, keeps the game scoreless with that save. Now under a minute to play in the third, Pasquale again, you want it? Not happening. 26 total saves on the night. Now in overtime, Alex Barr-Boulay, look at this finesse here. Slips past one, puts it past Michael Hutchinson, and seals the deal for the Crunch with the 1-0 win in overtime. A little bit about Syracuse before we break down the tournament a little bit. Syracuse, A little bit of a rocky season, won some games, lost some games, got plagued by some injuries. So overall, where do you see them kind of moving forward in the tournament based off their ACC play? How do you see them doing? But the Orange isn't the only team looking for a spot in the tournament as we switch over to the Lemoyne Dolphins, who are preparing for their conference tournament and played their last home game of the season against St. Rose. And the 28-game road streak comes to an end for softball as they host Niagara today at 4 p.m. in the Skytop Stadium. That's your sports update. I'm Tamar Turner. Go Orange. Alexander scored not 1, not 2, but 3 goals for Syracuse in the 18-6 final. And Syracuse continues the streak of never losing to UConn for as long as the two teams have been playing one another. With Duke coming off an upsetting loss to North Carolina and Syracuse pulling off the upset against Louisville, there was only one team who would come out on top. In the previous matchup, both teams battled until the end in a game that was ultimately decided in overtime. So would the Blue Devils get their desired revenge, or would the Orange complete the season sweep?
It's been a dream since like 11 to play like a college sport. I used to play basketball when I was little, and I always thought it would be awesome to play college basketball, but I wasn't tall enough or good enough to play that, so I switched to tennis.
To Jeremy, education was just as important as athletics, and he knew the United States could provide both.
America is like the only system that allows you to play sports and get an education at the same time, so that's why a lot of internationals come to America. It's because they don't have the same facilities and things like that as America does.
However, moving to another country at age 18 has some drawbacks.
It was pretty hard at the start to like meet new people and everything. It's just because I didn't know what people were into and stuff like that.
For Jeremy, the transition has not always been easy, but becoming a resident advisor of C139 Hall has allowed him to meet new students and familiarize himself with Onondaga Community College.
Even his teammate looks up to Jeremy because with his daily commitments, he doesn't let that slow him down.
I mean, he's an athlete, a student, and also he has a work here, which, I mean, it's a tight schedule. It's something that I really appreciate of him.
With also being a part of the Athlete Leadership Council at OCC, Jeremy has found a routine and has made the most of his transition since then. I
think everyone's going to go through like different hard parts, like leaving your family and everything, but just be persistent, I think, is the best thing. If you can stick through it, you'll end up meeting new people, and yeah, it will still be a great experience no matter what.